The cool always comes from our wives.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, and so, talk about your experience with Mr. Anderson as, you're one of your directors and teachers.
To this day, 6th grade band. Now, I remember I was coming in, everybody in band had a year of band already, because I was playing in the orchestra my 5th grade year. But my mom called Gordy Canuck, the high school band director, and said, my son wants to switch to trumpet. I got to get him some lessons. And he sent Paul Puffy over. Did you go to Wachter?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, Joel Puffy was a great science teacher down there, counselor. It was his brother, who at the time was one of Gordy's top trumpet players. And said, well, here's this kid's name. He's real good. It'd be good for him to teach beginner lessons. And he came to my house for 2 weeks every day and gave me a 1-hour lesson. Taught me how to play the trumpet. And then at Grimsrud, one of the requirements for 6th grade band was you had to play a 1-octave chromatic scale on trumpet. And to this day, as a high school band director, junior high band director, I'm still on the stage at Grimsrud Elementary, and I still know the overtone series because George Anderson made me memorize the chromatic scale.
Yeah.
And I mean, to this day, I could look at the trumpets and say, hey, no, it's 1 and 2. It's 1 and 2. It's 2 and 3. It's 1 and 3, And my head just goes right to George Anderson.
Yeah.
So, those things, you just never know as a teacher what an influence you're having. And thank you for stopping and telling George I was in your band and I really learned a lot. And, those things you don't know.
Yeah.
How you're going to touch some kid. I get this call from Chris Bukladnik out of the blue.
Yeah.
You just never know. So that was my George Anderson experience.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
He wasn't my junior high teacher because I lived in the Hughes district. So Harold Kepler, when I got to 7th grade, was my band director there. So I only had George for 1 year.
Okay.
And what fun then to go away, graduate, get a job in Bismarck, and now I'm working with Gordy Canuck, Harold Kepler, and George Anderson.
Yeah.
These guys that were my teachers.
Yeah.
What a joy to work with those guys.
Yeah. When you first started, like at Wachter, and you were being the band director in that area, what were the things that you realized they didn't teach me that in school? I mean, how long is that list?
Let's go back to my first year in Linton, North Dakota.
Okay.
And it was August, and we had moved back. And I'll never forget sitting on the floor of the band room going, in 4 days they're coming.
Yeah.
What am I going to do?
Yeah.
Well, I was lucky. I had Gordy Canuck as a father-in-law. I was eating dinner at his house every weekend,
Yeah.
Well, Gordy, what am I going to do? Well, you're going to need to get some folders. And you're going to need to number them, and you're going to have to, there's slots here. He came down to Linton and said, oh, well, you got this. And, well, you're going to want to do this. And, no, but you need a warm-up book. Let's go in the library and see what we got. Okay. Oh, this is a good one. And, things like that. Yeah. I suppose they taught it to me in college, but I didn't pay attention because I was going to L.A. to be the guitar player.
Sure.
My son, Rob, who graduated in music education from the University of Mary, percussionist, his first job out of high school, he was the associate band director of St. Mary's with Bill Schmidt. Okay. And he told me once, he said, man, after that first year, I wished I had listened to Dennis Gowan, his college instructor. Because Dennis would say, okay, flutes, let's go over here, measure 93. And of course, the drummers would all sit down and start dealing cards.
Yeah.
But he said, man, I wish I would have listened to what he said to the flute players. So they don't teach you that in college.
Sure.
They don't. They teach you a lot of good stuff, but, it's all, everything is trial by fire.
Yes.
And
I would totally agree.
Fortunately, I had good resources. I could always call Gordy. I got this clarinet player, and every time she gets up to E flat, it's always sharp. What do I? Oh, well, just have her put her third finger down on the thing, and you're I'll try that. And Gordy had been doing this for 30 years. He knew everything.
Yeah. No,
he knew
absolutely. Everything. Not like I'm associating that you would know everybody. You do almost know everybody. Does the name Charlie and Fran Rue ring a bell?
Oh, I knew Milt Rue.
Okay.
Not
I don't know if I know Milt. But he was out in, what is Howard Lake, Minnesota. He was the band director. I was the director down in Winsted, right, the city below. And I had spent a couple years teaching in Winsted at Holy Trinity.
What did you teach?
I taught band and choir.
You did?
I did. And so I have a degree. I have an music education degree, and I had applied everywhere, all over, but I had places that were not like inner city Chicago or something like that. Yeah. I'm not ready for that. I need to go and like start somewhere that I can at least fumble a bit. And when you were saying like 4 days and the kids are going to show up, as soon as you said that, I immediately went to the week before, sitting on the floor of the room, opening up the cabinet and saying the music is not in any order, not numeric, not by anything. So I'd sit there and, shelves and shelves of music, try to put all that together, make sure the pieces are all there. And as I'm doing it, writing down, okay, this might be a good song, or looking at the score and all this stuff. So I mean, and
then you open it and there's no first trumpet player.
Yeah, there probably wasn't. They probably took all of them, but it's like I absolutely remember that experience. Yeah, and there's so much that, and you're not set up with a mentor at all. I had to go find my own.
You weren't, yeah. I was.
So then at that point, it's like I had to go and find people in the area. They're like, "Can I ask you questions? Can I? I'm doing this. This is the result. Why is that happening? Yeah. Do I need to do it differently?" And then Charlie Rue was the band director there, and he's like, "Oh yeah. You need to do this with long tones, whatever it might be." And I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't think about that. And then also, because again, small town band, it takes a while to go and develop. This is how we do music, because there was, in the prior 7 years, there were 6 teachers. And so they had no consistency. Everybody's doing something different. Yeah. And so then I realized after that first session, I have to go and kind of sneakily bring up rhythms without notes, whatever, and just be like, hey, I want everybody just to clap this out, and we're going to, break it down. And then 3 weeks later, we bring out the music. And oh, God, I saw that. I know how to do that now. Yeah. Great, because it would be so confusing for you to go and try to actually read this with the notes.
But isn't it great when the light comes on? Bing.
Yeah. That's the best part. That is the best part. But then you always have the ones that are like, I'm just here to warm the seat. And those are always really, really tough. Okay, fantastic.